Arne Slot has become the first Liverpool manager to win his very first match as a coach of the club, and which is an astounding statistic when you consider some of the greats that Liverpool have had and how prestigious of a club they are. But I think it was really important to get that win, start the season off well, which is always a good sign. It's not often that a new coach is coming in where they're in the off season, the former coach has kind of stepped away. You see it very commonly in current sports where there's normally a sacking that leads to a new manager coming in. They're coming in with a bit of a disgruntled side. So you can understand how having a full preseason coming up against a newly promoted side in Ipswich Town gave him the best opportunity to get that first win. And I think everyone was expecting him to get that win. And then but overall, I think it was a really good display, especially that second half. The first half just felt like a bit of a feeling out process. I know I've seen from people saying Liverpool were really poor and obviously weren't great. It, to me, just looked like a side that was playing their first half of the season under a new manager is kind of how it came across. It was a bit of rust there, given the fact there's been an off season. I know there's been some international tournaments. A lot of the players have played in those, but it's still a different kind of atmosphere when you get to the Premier League. Not even that it's better or worse than these international tournaments. It just is different and can take a little bit of getting used to. Plus, they had to understand sort of the tactics that Arne Slot was trying to implement, plus what they learned from Jurgen Klopp as well. So trying to work out exactly where they're meant to be and what to keep from Klopp, what to implement from Slot is a lot to kind of take in. So I think that was not too surprising. One of the big things from Slot's perspective that I thought as a fan viewing him that I really liked was his bravery to take off Gerald Quansah at halftime and make that substitution and go, nope, something's not working here. I need to fix it. I'm not going to wait to see if we can just turn around the second half. I know how we can fix it. This time I'm going to do it, and I'm just going to do it. And because it's a tough call, pulling someone at halftime, especially a centre-back and a young centre-back at that, it can risk damaging the confidence of that player. And I'm sure he would have had the conversations and explained to Jarrell what sort of led to his decision to do that. And so I'm sure that'll all smooth over and he'll understand, especially given it worked. I think that can kind of, when you see a substitution work as the player being substituted, you kind of have to understand that's how it worked. Well, it's just kind of what was best for the team. So I think that helped him. But just having that bravery, I think, showed a lot in his first game. He's not here to kind of win the fans over first and then win games second. He's here to win matches and gone, the fans will follow me. As long as we win, the fans will follow me and I can deal with the PR and stuff. That doesn't seem to come as naturally to Arne Slot as it did to Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp was a natural people person and naturally charismatic to the media and stuff, whereas Slot feels very just focused on the football and implementing that. So I think from a fan, it was nice to see his identity kind of on display from the start as well, the changes and that bravery. But then Ipswich started strong as well. I think you got to give them a lot of credit, as you can't just put it down to Liverpool, kind of their rust and things like that. I think you got to give Ipswich a lot of credit as a newly promoted team. I was concerned coming into this game, I'll be honest, just because it feels like you see it every year. There's one newly promoted side that gets a win and kind of can have a strong start out of nowhere. And I could just see Ipswich were really good last year in the championship, and so the fact that the crowd would be bumping for it, given how long they've been out of the Premier League, and so I could just see, I could see where we went down early and then kind of struggled to regain it then. So the fact that we saw the first half out, and then in the second half we go, okay, we've settled it down, the crowd's quieting down, let's just play our style. I think that was a real maturity from the side, which was nice to see, and showed a lot. So, and in that second half, it was just the people you'd expect to stand up were the ones who stood up. You saw Salah got his goal, as he always does on opening day. That's now 9 goals in opening day games, I believe. He scored or assisted in every single one he's had in the Premier League, and a new record for most goals on opening day. So just another notch in his bow, Salah doing what Salah does, and setting records, and for me, he's the best Premier League winger of all time, and he's arguably the best player of all time as well in the Premier League. So I'd be really interested to know your guys' thoughts on who you think the best winger of all time is for the Premier League, and who you think the best player is, because to me, I go, well, he's had the output, so that's there. The numbers speak for themselves. He's won the league, and although to me that's a team accomplishment, so that does come secondary. It's not, to me, it doesn't mean as much. I mean, I believe that Gerrard's the best Premier League midfielder of all time, and obviously I'm Liverpool biased, but it's my personal belief, and I think he was just unlucky with how poor a lot of the teams he played in were, and so it wasn't necessarily on him. And so, but for the people who do value that highly, Salah's won the Premier League, he's got the output, he's got longevity now for how many seasons he's done it, like coming in what was it, 2017-18 season, I believe. So you're starting 7 years now. He's done it. I mean, that's just unreal to continue that form on. And so I think, to me, he's the best winger in Premier League history, just for everything he's done. I find it really hard to see debates, and I think the only debate is if you, I guess, are going best winger to have played in the Premier League, then you look at your Ronaldo's, who the best of his years were at Real Madrid, and that's where a large portion of his career was. So do you count that into it? To me personally, I don't. It was in a different league. You can't count that. So I'd give it to Salah. And so just when Liverpool were on, he was a big part of that. He was making stuff happen. He laid the first one off to Jota, and then he got his goal in the end, and could have had a couple more as well. Diaz put his over the bar. That was a really good opportunity. Not sure what he was even trying to do. He goes for this weird little flick over the... He flicks over the bar, but I'm not sure if he's just trying to flick it over the keeper. His body's really weirdly positioned to do it. It wasn't as if he was just trying to get a slight dink. It was as if he was trying to send it up quite high. It was a weird choice for him to make, and you can tell that side of Diaz's game still developing, and Liverpool hope he gets that a lot better this year, because that's been the one thing he's really been missing. Saw that. And then on that right side as well, his partner in crime, Trent Alexander-Arnold, just ran the show. Him and Gravenberch, Trent playing the right back and Gravenberch in the 6, but Trent inverting their triangles together, the way they could play, and then balls through to Salah, it was exceptional. And it was funny, I feel like I almost forgot how good Trent is, just because you hear the noise when he's in the England camps and the constant debates on whether he's good enough for England, which to me is ridiculous. He's clearly the best right back in the country. He's the best right back in the world. He's the best right back of all time. And is defending a strong part of his game? No. But I think his defensive frailties are so overhyped. A lot of his frailties, people go, oh, he's out of position. And there are times he is. I'm not here saying he's also the best one-on-one defender in the league either. But so many of his defensive positioning, poor defensive positioning, was coming from where Klopp was asking him to be in certain positions. He was trying to be higher up the field. He wanted him more attacking positions, knowing we'd have players cover him. That's how Liverpool functioned, and that's how we wanted to play. We were trying to get him further up, and the old school kind of right back who defends and then will just whip across, head pass, that was gone for Trent. He's plays inverted, he plays further up. At times you see him in that kind of 10 position, roaming around there. He has free reign. So to me, it was just a lot of misunderstanding, I think, about his frailties. He's actually quite good defensively. He's not amazing. He gets beaten sometimes. I mean, every defender does. Let's be real. No one can know that. You can't show me a fullback in the world who doesn't get beaten at some point. Wingers are just that good that sometimes they'll beat players as well. It's just how the sport works. And so, getting back to his ball playing, just the ball for Salah through the middle, you sort of play some of the crosses to the far side to Diaz, was just unreal, and you just saw the absolute best of him in that second half. And same with Gravenberch too, especially when there's been a lot of talk about Liverpool needing a number 6 and who's going to play there and how it's going to work. For him to step up after last year, not really getting a ton of game time or as much as he probably would have wanted, I think it was really good to see him start and put down a marker that it's his position to lose, and even if we make a new signing, they're going to have to try and beat him out. And if he plays like that, it'll be tough to see anyone taking his spot. So I think it was really exciting to see he just controlled that midfield. And yeah, I just thought it was really impressive in how that all played, how Liverpool played in that second half. And the first half to me just felt, like I said, a bit just like a team playing the first game of the season under a new coach. Bit sluggish, didn't win enough duels. That was what Arnie Slot said as well about one of the reasons he subbed off Jarrell Quansah, was just not winning enough of his duels. And so the fact that they were able to turn it around, and then as we move into this week's game, I think it's a big game against United from memory. If it's not this week, I know that game's coming up soon, so that'll be interesting to see. It's very early in the season for that game to happen as well. It's strange. I thought you'd think if you're just planning the fixtures, you'd try and put that maybe a month in, so when teams are kind of a bit more match sharp, you can try and get the best out of the game. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out and how Liverpool go there, and we'll definitely talk about it as we review it. So I'm looking forward to that game. I'm always nervous, but I think it was impressive. And then a couple of other things that came out of the game was, one, holy shit, do the refs still suck in the Premier League? I've said for ages that the AFL have the worst umpires or referees in world sport, and I still stand by that. They are terrible. It's also one of the hardest games to referee, so I understand that, and I think that AFL could do more to support them in making it better, but I just do still think they're the worst. But Premier League may be a close second, because they are dreadful. How I can't remember his name from Ipswich, the player who should have been sent off. If you're seeing it, you'll know exactly what I'm referring to. When he's already on a yellow, Jota beats him, goes past, and the guy just picks up the ball, puts it back. And it makes no sense as to why he's not sent off, because the ref clearly sees it because he pays a free kick. In what instance can you pay the free kick seeing he's handballed it and not give a second yellow? I understand it's early, but everyone knows you can't just pick up a ball and throw it away. It is not basketball. That is not how this sport's played. And it was just one of the most ridiculous things to see, and I'm glad it didn't matter in the end. But if it had, it'd be up in arms week 1. Oh, it would be the second game of the weekend, and everyone would be complaining about the referees, and they'll never get it back. I mean, after all the debacle Liverpool have had in recent years with the referees and VAR, and I know a lot of people say Liverpool, but the numbers speak for themselves, and the fact that Liverpool are one of the teams who I don't want to say they get robbed by it, but they just end up on the bad side of luck when it comes to VAR more often than not. Well, it's not even luck, because it is just poor decisions, but they just end up on the wrong side of it and miss out on either decisions that should go their way but don't, or they have decisions go against them when they shouldn't have, and things like that. So yeah, it was amazing. It was like, all right, week 1, well, this is what we're in for, I guess. They're still terrible, and I can't see it improving, and as people and athletes and like managers can't really talk about it, it'll just kind of keep going how it is. And yeah, it was astounding how that wasn't a yellow, and I just couldn't get it. But if anyone understands how the referee didn't pay that a second yellow and send him off, let me know in the comments, because I did not understand it in the slightest why that wouldn't have been paid. But the other thing that came away from this game is the talk about Mo Salah and Trent Alexander-Arnold's contracts, and Virgil van Dijk's as well is coming up. Only got a couple years left, so they're the 3 that Liverpool need to do before they sign any other players. Well, I say any other, before they sign players, they need to make sure they're keeping these guys, because Trent, you can't replace him. There's just no replacement for him in the world. He is a one-of-a-kind player. You would have to change your system to make it work. And I'm not saying that change the system couldn't work, but he's just so unique. He's also the vice captain. He's a scouser. He's the face of the team, essentially, going forward. He's the light for the academy players looking into it. This is what you can be. And so he's so important to the team. So you have to keep him. You have to keep Mo Salah around. You're just not going to be able to replace Mo Salah's output or impact for the money you'll get, because I don't think you're going to get 100 million or 150 million from the Saudis again. I think that offer's gone. And so what are you going to get? 50 million? Who are you going to replace Salah with for 50 million? That's just... Joe Gomez is rumored to be going, and there was a previous price tag of 45 million for him. So how could you... Who could you get to replace Salah for 50 million? You take another gamble on kind of finding another diamond in the rough, and if that works, great, but the likelihood is it won't. Especially not even though it won't work as in they won't be a good player, but they're not going to be as good as Mo Salah, who is still one of the, if not the best players in the league. You're just not going to be able to play, so you need to just keep him. To me, one of the things I love about the Los Angeles Lakers is they routinely treat their stars well. They understand the impact that they have for the stars, and so they treat them really well, and they in return then it's reciprocated. And people understand that. People want to go to clubs where they feel they're treated respectfully, and so I think that's something Liverpool should honor. I mean, Jordan Henderson didn't get the send-off I think he deserved from Liverpool for his time as captain and everything he did for the club. He kind of just went over to Saudi, and that didn't really pan out and such, so that was disappointing to see. But then you see what Firmino got, and that goodbye. And I think Salah deserves that for everything he's done for this club. I think he deserves that, and I think you just try and keep him, and then if you can keep him for a couple of years, and then after that he walks away from his contract and goes somewhere else, I think you can say okay and leave on good terms like that. But just selling him, I don't think works. But he's too good to let go now from his contract. So Liverpool need to get that wrapped up. Trent's too good to let go as well. Yes, not going to be able to replace him as well. Same with Van Dijk. Need to keep him around. Captain and vice captain, you've got to keep them. Best centre back in the world, best right back in the world. You just have to keep them around as long as you can. But hopefully we'll be able to talk through that throughout the season and ongoing. Hopefully it gets done quickly, but we'll see how it all plays out. But overall, happy with that win from Liverpool. Looking forward to seeing how the next game goes. But let's discuss. I'll look at potentially discussing some of the other games as well. And so yeah, but Liverpool's win, I think it was impressive, and I think it was a lot of positives to take from it. And the BS is just they got the win, and that was the most important thing. You can't win them all if you don't win the first. So let me know your thoughts on Liverpool's win down below and their performances. Who are your favourite players? What were some of your thoughts? How do you think they'll go this season? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. This has actually been a clip excerpt from my full-length podcast, the Armchair Athlete podcast. So make sure to check the channel for all the other clips, watch the videos in full. Make sure to like and subscribe, and let me know your thoughts on the video below. Any topics or feedback you want to discuss, throw them down below. It'd be good to hear from you guys. But yeah, as I said, make sure to subscribe and check out the channel for more.